Good afternoon, everybody. This is the Roaming Prepper, and my camera's crooked, which has been the case all day. It's been one of those weeks, and it's only Tuesday. Thank you for joining me today. Hey, Loretta, Joe, everybody, Monique. Uh, a lot of you jumped in on my Monday unplanned special live where I kind of went over a lot of the hurricane stuff, and a lot of you know that storm has passed, or it's making its way out of the US of A. Right now, they're having a bit of fun with it right around, it looks like Tennessee and Virginia are getting it right now. I'm doing good, Loretta. Thank you for asking. Let's see what we've got here. Probably need to make that a little bit bigger. There we go. I really need to remember to make that logo smaller. That's kind of tiny. Anyway, Tropical Depression Ida now has made, hey Appalachia, how you doing? Has made its way past Louisiana and into, basically headed into the Appalachian Mountains. If history holds any truth, because of the hill country in that part, West Virginia, southern PA, which is places I used to hike in my younger days, that much water, especially from a slow-moving storm, is going to cause some flooding. So I'm sure everybody's not going to be super thrilled with that. By now, the winds are starting to die down. This is a good thing. So right now, what we've got more than anything is just a mess. Now, that being said, New Orleans, and I'll leave that map link for you guys up here. Hurricane Ida did make landfall as a Cat 4. Now, my younger sib, who did have to, he did choose to get away from the storm, did report that his neighbor, who hunkered down in place and is kind of serving as the security for the neighborhood, both retired Navy guys, has already reported that the streetlights were back on and the power was on in their subdivision. A lot of the houses took some roof damage. The live oaks did what live oaks do and fell over, and kind of caused a bunch of grief for some of the neighbors. Some fences got knocked down. He said the damage wasn't as bad as he was expecting. He's making his way back there now, but it was, he had planned out. He has a very loosely affiliated mag there, all of whom have deployed together. So these guys have known each other for a hot minute, the guys and girls. So they made some rounds of the neighborhood, the ones who stayed behind, who didn't have kids mainly. And Northern Girl's always busy, by the way, if you hadn't noticed, between the chickens and the farm and the doing of chores and potatoes. So if you haven't seen her videos, you really got to check them out, because they're a lot of fun. But she, every time she's always like, I'm working right now, but I'm listening. Thank you, by the way, Jen. I do appreciate that, because it has been a week and it's only Tuesday. But in any case, so the storm, thus far, I have not heard any major reports of fatalities. I heard there were some folks who did wind up having some issues. Let me see. I have an article to share with you guys if I can make my my screens behave nicely. Here we go. So this one, Hurricane Ida. Did my chores all morning, spending the evening reading. There you go. That's probably not a bad idea, Monique. Our day was so chaotic in my company that I already mixed a drink, even though the workday just ended. And I have several of my coworkers texted me from 3 different cities and asked, what the hell happened today? It was one of those days where not just one city, but every member of the team is texting each other going, what the hell? So yeah, we feel your pain. Yeah, reading tonight sounds like a very good idea. Hurricane Ida made landfall. It came in as a Cat 4. It did a lot of damage. So what I'm hearing from friends, family, etc., who are in the area, the southern shore got clobbered. So when I say the southern shore, I'm referring to, and I'll see if I can find a decent map here. Basically, the south end of uh, Joe Morgan. Come do mine. No, Joe's like, no, I don't want to. Yeah, when it rains, and it rains so rarely in this part of Texas that when it does, I want to go to sleep. I'm like, I'm done, or eat pizza or something. I'm gonna get a quick map of New Orleans just so you guys can see what I'm talking about here. So if the map will play nicely and pull up. So, New Orleans. Come on now, play nicely. Here we go. Alrighty. And it keeps wanting to direct me to food guides. Okay, let's try that again. So we're going to share a different screen now. And so this is basically New Orleans. And as you can see, so I at one point used to live down here, where basically if you went any further south, you would be in water. The storm pretty much came up this way, almost the exact same track as Katrina. The levees held, the pumps held, they had backup generators. Everyone learned a lot between 9/11 and Katrina. A lot of things were learned, and I talked about some of that on Monday. So I'm hearing power up here, Slidell, Covington, Hammond is starting to come back on. Out toward Baton Rouge, they got a lot of wind damage. So they're struggling a bit. Half the city's on, half the city's off. The water is back on and it is drinkable, which is good. That means the infrastructure survived. The hospitals in the area, I'm going to expand a little bit. The hospitals in the area, after Katrina, got extra generators. They also elevated them. Hey, Donna, good to see you. And anyone else I missed, everybody's names keep going by real fast. But what they're saying is down here, the Metairie, kind of what they call the South Shore of New Orleans. So down here, these areas, Chalmey, Marrero, Estelle, all these, Belchase, they got clobbered. And we're hearing estimates that power may not be restored anywhere from 2 weeks, and some areas have been told November. So I want you guys to think about that because we just started September. I'm hoping that was wrong, but the temperatures are now going into the hotter Louisiana temps where you start getting that wicked humidity along with your temperature, and it's at least 2 people. Okay, so 2 people died. A 60-year-old man in Ascension Parish was killed by a felled tree, and a man drowned in New Orleans trying to drive through floodwaters. Wow. Okay, The Hiding Place. I have not heard about that book. I'll have to read that. I'm in the middle of Edge of Madness right now. So, guys, during Harvey, during Ike, the majority of people who died during hurricanes died trying to drive a vehicle somewhere. They either got swept off the road by a foot or less of water. Hey, Caribbean House, I saw you blaze by there. Or they tried to go through what they thought wasn't high water, and it was high water, and they went bloop, and they sunk. And then once they got in, here's something to think about. If you're in a vehicle, you have air inside, right? You drive into whatever, a depression, a ditch, and boom, you now have water on the outside. You're on the inside with air, and the water's leaking in. the pressure from the water will exceed the pressure from the air. So if you try to open the door, the water pressure is going to push it shut, and it's going to make it really hard. And that's how people sometimes drown, is they're trying to push the door open. It comes back and hits them, and they're going back and forth fighting with the door, and all of a sudden it fills up with water. They often recommend either roll down the windows immediately and go out the window because you're going to get wet, or once the vehicle is submerged, unbuckle, go to the back window, because usually the motor's the heavy part. It'll go nose down and break out. Hey, JH, glad you can make it. Break out that back window, because the water pressure will keep you pushed in. So just mental note on that. So in any case, that was the French Quarter, guys, for those of you who have been there. It took the roof across the street, apparently from like the cat's meow, and flung it into the next building. Surprisingly, very few people were hurt, which is a good thing. They were trying to put out, there were various fires that broke out between lightning and people's lanterns getting knocked over, but there was no power, so there was no water pressure, or they couldn't get to the fire hydrants. So it was making it difficult. There were a lot of down power lines. So again, if you find yourself in this kind of situation, make sure that you be cautious of power lines in the water. You won't see them. And if you step in the water and that line's energized, it's going to fry you. So, but overall, it could have been a lot worse. It was not as bad as we thought. So, but it's a mess. So we'll see how it plays out from there. Now, that being said, folks, we do have news on fuel. So let's go to that, because we're going to see an uptick in the gas prices. Let me pull that article up real quick. So Hurricane Ida left nearly 1.2 million residents without power. Now they're getting that summer heat, but it also knocked. Entergy has warned that Ida's catastrophic intensity impacted all 8 transmission lines into the city. So hey, Klingon Princess, glad you made it. As a result of the storm, 216 substations, 2,000 miles of line, and 207 transmission lines all went down. Unfortunately, it also knocked a lot of the refineries had to shut down, and a lot of the offshore producing platforms and the substations that are just offshore shut down and lock in whenever a hurricane approaches. It's pretty standard. I'd worked offshore, and pretty much once a named storm enters the Gulf, they start not bringing people in from the furthest out to everyone on the shelf in stages. They start bringing all the helicopters and boats, start bringing people in. So expect a price increase in the short term on gas between this storm and the normal summer driving, etc. So Stuart just blew by. Hello, Stuart. I saw you somewhere over there. So I hope I got everybody. I don't know if I missed anyone there. And oh yeah, so Papa Prepper seems to be on the mend. He wound up, the doctors gave him some treatment, so we're hoping he'll be making videos again soon. If you have not seen Papa's website or YouTube channel, go find him. If one of the admins could throw Northern Girl and Papa Prepper in the comments, that would be most appreciated. And if anyone else has an active channel you'd like to advertise, let the admins know. So yeah, expect gas prices are going to go up. we're hoping under 25 cents a gallon. OPEC Plus is supposed to have a meeting, so that's kind of a wild card. On the flip side, you also have a large increase in drilling here in Texas, Oklahoma, and New Mexico. So hopefully that might offset some of that production pain. Hey, Bug Dude, I'm glad you made it. So in any case, so gas price is going to go up, guys. Not a big surprise. It normally goes up during this time of year, and it's not the first time we've had a hurricane during the beginning of school season, and it screws up gas prices. But in any case, it could have been a lot worse in Louisiana. They've just got a lot of cleanup to do. So in any case, before we go any further, I'm going to switch gears on you guys from the domestic to the international stuff. And actually, we're going to go back a bit in time. I saw this article, and it was kind of concerning. So this article was ominous warnings from Afghanistan's last men standing. As you all know, the last plane, the general of the 82nd, was the last person to walk onto the C-130 before the last C-130 before it took off. The 82nd has that tradition that the general is the first man out, first man in on a deployment, and they're gone. Our troops are out. Unfortunately, there's a slew of people still in the country. There's been a lot of talk on Twitter. Several reporters have reported that there are busloads of American families, U.S. citizens, that are stuck there. So we have non-governmental organizations, some corporations, friends, other countries. Tajikistan has requested anyone who can, they can come into their country for safe transit to the U.S. embassy in their country. The problem is getting out of Afghanistan right now. But this picture you see here is Ahmad Shah Massoud. He was killed September 9th, 2001. And 2 days later, Al-Qaeda flew planes into the Twin Towers in New York City. He was the leader of the old Northern Alliance, the Mujahideen that we had fought with against the Russians. And oh yeah, Appalachian. I'm glad you put her in there. And Bug Dude, thank you, Klingon Princess. You are a most awesome human being. Thank you. But in any case, we give her a gold star, but I don't know how to do that on YouTube. He was the Mujahideen commander. He led the Northern Alliance, and he fought against Al-Qaeda and the Taliban. Several months before 9/11, he had warned U.S. intelligence, his friends from the Russian war, that Al-Qaeda was planning an attack and it was imminent. He knew that bin Laden had already given the go to his operatives in the country. And he turned out he was killed by people pretending to be journalists. So in any case, the big concern here is, so these northern, there you go. Thank you, Bug Dude. Klingon Princess, Bug Dude found the star for you. I would send everyone drinks, but you can't do that on the interwebs. At least I don't know if you can. In any case, the Afghanistan Constitution, the one that was in place before they got overrun, states that if the president leaves or absconds his title or dies, the vice president is now the constitutional president. So the current president has gone to where the old Northern Alliance was, and has basically set up a resistance to the Taliban. I figured as my class as doing the proof of life series. um, but in any case, the way they put it, as the last American planes depart Kabul and the Taliban take control, uh, well, we have a lot of sitting ducks, but some people who are our allies in this northern region are warning, if we leave that be, we got to watch them, because Al Qaeda or ISIS K or whatever the hell they're called. Hey, Q Kitchen, I'm glad you made it. Are starting to reorganize. So what we're seeing here now is ISIS, Al Qaeda, and the Taliban all kind of gelling, but they don't like each other. So there's going to be some kind of power struggle here. I suspect that that we're probably going to see a bit of bloodshed in this country before it's all said and done. I've heard some fringe reports that the Taliban have already started going door to door, looking for anyone who helped other people and taking them out, shooting them, beating them, whatever the case may be. I can't confirm it, so I'm not going to share that, because it's only one source. I like to see some information from a couple before I jump on that. But in any case, we're going to have to pay attention. Hopefully, I don't know if the CIA or intelligence agencies have any assets left in that country. Um, it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Well, regardless, the evacuation is complete. It was not well received by everybody. I saw several articles like this one, and that was one of the Gold Star family's reaction to the president. In the president's defense, I was pretty confident he didn't want anyone to die, but the administration as a whole handled this really badly. And a lot of the families were kind of lashing out at the president at the airport. They flew several of the families to Dover over in the UK, and they were going to transfer the remains to the inbound American flight so they could come home. And one of them, Mark Schmidt, the father of Marine Lance Corporal Jared Schmidt, gave the Post a similar account of his emotions to what he said to Fox News' Sean Hannity on Monday. He had no desire to meet the president, but when he eventually did, Schmidt said he glared at Biden through the meeting. So the president mostly looked at Schmidt's ex-wife. Now, the president's son who passed away, Beau Biden, he also served there, which is kind of a large irony. I think it's Appalachia has a good point. I think they're so invested in their political prize or whatever political currency they're trying to collect that they're not functioning well. And this is true. This could have been handled much differently. We could have withdrawn the civilians and left out of the Bagram Air Force Base, which was more than sufficiently fortified. It was a good position, and safely taken all our allies, friends, citizens out, and then slowly collapsed in, letting the Afghan army take its place. But yeah, this is that would have probably been the best place to do it. Kabul was one main airport, and it was basically split in two. And you saw what happened. I mean, the planes are trying to take off, and people are running, taking selfies with the American airplane, which was kind of comical. Unfortunately, that kind of situation lent itself to our soldiers being exposed, and hence that suicide bomber who broke the lines killed 13 people right at the end of the war. So the Taliban are now celebrating apparently in the streets. Another family, the widow of the deceased Marine, met with the Biden family. She said the Mrs. Biden or Dr. Biden was, hey, drive safe, Klingon. Thank you for all your help, by the way. Yeah, they were upset. They said the meeting the president kind of was disappointing, according to the article. That's kind of sad and unfortunate that it went down like that. But lo and behold, that's the vacuum we left. One scary thing I don't like, and I saw this just before I went on. So now Iran, Syria, the Taliban are all having meetings, specifically Syria and Iran. Iranian Foreign Minister Hossein, I can't pronounce that, met Sunday with Syrian President Bashar al-Assad to discuss issues of mutual interest and cooperating between the two countries in the economic field and other mechanisms, is the way they put it. So I don't know how that's going to play out. Neither of those countries like us. The Taliban, ironically, has asked for an ambassador to come back. So for some reason, I guess they want to establish some kind of normalization with the U.S. government now that the military's out. I don't know how that's going to play out either. That has been kind of a big mess. But yeah, I have lots of sentiments on that. I see some of y'all's sentiments in there as well. This was a mess. I guess there were things we could have done. They could have done better that we didn't. And if you know anyone who served out in Afghanistan, make sure you reach out to them. I know a lot of vets have taken this pretty badly. So, you know, we've lost enough people. Let's make sure we don't lose any more here at home. So, you know, reach out to them. And you know, Bug Dude has an interesting thought on this. It's either on purpose or they don't have the expertise. This is not, you know, whether it's Clinton or Reagan or Bush. You looked at the people they had around them. They had former CIA, former State Department. They had some real deep experience. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how they. Oh, hey, Lucky Dame, I didn't see you in there. Pardon my French. Apparently, I missed something here. But there you go. Didn't vote for. Turd sandwich would work. Yeah, this is. Oh yeah, the service dogs got left behind. And I saw that article earlier today. That's heartbreaking. Why that? I don't know why that happens. That's pretty awful. She's lurking. In any case, and Lucky Dame does come on. You come on later tonight, right, Lucky? I think she does. Lucky Sandwich. I like that. There you go. Lucky, you have a new name. It was actually the canines, whatever canines they left with the Afghan army, got left behind. I'm sure the ones assigned to the Marines came back with them. But no, I'm sorry, you're right, Lucky. She comes on Thursday, so check her channel out as well. In any case, guys, so right now, Afghanistan, we're out officially. there are still citizens in country. Now, if for some reason you know someone, I did talk to some of my friends who work for the feds who are experienced in this stuff, and they said reach out to, if you cannot reach State Department, they said you can reach out to the nation of Jordan, the embassy in Jordan, or I just forgot. You know, I got a night's sleep and I'm still tired like I was yesterday. The Jordanians, the Egyptians are taking any Americans who manage to get out. Tajikistan is taking any Americans as well who can make it to their area. The Russians, ironically, have agreed. So, yeah, if you know someone who is trapped in the country, have them reach out to one of the embassies in one of the nearby nations, because there is no more consulate and no resource officially in Afghanistan. I believe the Red Cross and some of the charitables are being left alone at the moment, but that's no guarantee that'll continue over time. So make sure if you do know anyone, they reach out to some of these alternatives and try to get themselves out of that country as soon as they can. And so last topic, as far as the shelters, and I meant to update you guys on that earlier, and I completely blanked out. Here we go, Red Cross shelter map. For those of you who did not see this on my Monday, I will bring it up again. Yeah. Well, and you know what, Five Virgins, when they're stupid, lately they've been epically stupid, not just kind of stupid. It's like stupid at a new level. So yeah, that's been a mess. So guys, just a reminder, I'm going to pop this up here again. The Red Cross shelter map, they have added a few shelters up toward, I don't know if you guys can see that. And I covered kind of how these, how the shelters operate. They did add some up in Jackson. I heard that a few they had closer to New Orleans started to flood, and they had to pack them up and move them. So the nearest one from the city itself will be in Slidell. And then from there, and you have to go over the twin span, what they call here. The bridge is intact. Also, the bridge over Lake Pontchartrain over here is also intact. By the way, that is I think it's a 15-mile bridge. So if you know anyone in the New Orleans area who's trying to get out, make sure they have a full tank of gas. I have seen so many cars get stuck on that bridge halfway because they're like, oh, it's just a bridge. And then, 10 miles later, they break down and run out of gas. There are also shelters in Hammond and Kiln. They don't indicate here if, let's see, they don't indicate if they will take, if they're wheelchair accessible or if they have pet accommodations. You see there's a pet accommodations code. Oh, shoot, I didn't mean to do that. That was exciting. Technical error between the engineer and the keyboard. Here we go. Yeah, so the bridge actually goes across the entirety of Lake Pontchartrain. There is no rest stop on it. And if I'm correct, it is 15 miles or 20 miles. I can't remember exactly, but hey, Hava, I'm glad you made it. Thank you. That is a long drive, so if they go on that bridge, make sure they have enough gas. Texting and cell phones are coming back up. Texting does work. The cell phones is a bit sketchy, but they are up. But again, if they don't already have gas, we've all discussed about having your vehicles fueled up before a hurricane. Right now, the power's out to this entire area. And then the South Shore in particular got really devastated. They're expecting them to not have power possibly Again, one person told me they're thinking November, which would be insane. But for the most part, it's 2 to 4 weeks. So still, a month is not a joke. No power. The water supply's been kind of sketchy. So there's boil water notices in parts of New Orleans. The roads seem to be intact, so the bridges are good. If anyone has to evacuate, the general recommendation is either to go to so anything on the east side of the storm took a hit. So this part here is probably pretty ugly. You could try to go toward Florida, but I would recommend going to Hammond or backtracking to Baton Rouge if you want to go to a to a Red Cross shelter. Now Lafayette did have some hotel availability, as did Lake Charles, and of course they could just come all the way to Beaumont. Beaumont did open up 3 shelters to receive anybody from the Baton Rouge area. Baton Rouge also intermittent power. So yeah, and God is in control. It's absolutely. I have a faith there's something greater than us. But we got to practice faith with works, and the folks of the Red Cross are practicing that right now. I know there are a lot of people out there trying to help. There is a shelter in Houston, which I didn't realize until a little while ago. And that one, where is that? That looks like it's up by the airport. So yeah, that's right by the airport, by Bush Intercontinental. So they may be flying in some evacuees and then housing them there. So Lafayette. It's Lafayette. If you don't say it right, they get really agitated with you. Hey, take care, Appalachia. Be safe out there. So, folks, there are several places to go. Be sure to share this with anyone you know in the affected area. I'd also recommend, if you have floods, tornadoes, hurricanes, etc., where you live, you may want to download the Red Cross app. It will give you the most current listing of the shelters in your area on the app, and then if you click them, it'll actually give you Apple or Google Map directions. Hey, Heroic. Heroic's our guy on the East Coast, and definitely check him out. He had a bit of a rant this morning, or was it yesterday? So no, don't feel bad, man. It's been a day for everyone. If you scroll back in the chat, apparently everyone's having a week. But there's plenty of shelters out there, guys. So if people need to cool off or pick up a little bit of water and a hot meal before they go back to work cleaning up their property, they can do that. Now, I was told that, hold on, I kind of zoomed the wrong way here. The sheriff in Slidell, they have a checkpoint at the bridge, so they're making sure that, yeah, New Jersey's getting rain. Yeah, actually, you're getting the remnants of what's left of the hurricane, the front end of that. So, yeah, they do. Lucky's absolutely right. And it's Boudin, not Boudin. If you say it wrong, they get upset. And when they call you Cher, it's not because you're a rock star. It's a term of affection. So I lived there way too long, and I got way too many bad habits from my coon-ass friends. In any case, you got a lot of shelters there. There's a lot of resources. Texting is working. Cell phones, for the most part, are working, but they're intermittent in the city itself. But it looks like the response was handled pretty good. They had the right people in place. Other than a few unfortunate accidents, which cost people their lives, it seems like the public did the right thing. And the hospitals, all the upgrades with the generators and the flood barriers to protect the generators from flooding, which is what happened in Katrina, all worked. So big lesson learned there. Again, the FEMA ICS completely evolved after Katrina. And it looks like between Harvey and the response for this one, FEMA, Red Cross, the integrated command system, it seems to be working. And Lucky Dame is channeling her inner Cajun right now. Actually, I've already ordering a turducken for Thanksgiving because, you have to have that. Yeah. Believe it or not, Monique, some people do not know that. We've had some folks, we will say "sha" and they don't know, they blank out. They get that deer in the headlights look. So my daughter will start sounding Cajun if she drinks with her friends too much. But I have the only Kunas Spanish kids you may ever meet, so it's pretty interesting for sure. But guys, lots of resources. It looks like it was hey Guardian, I'm glad you made it. Oh, did he? Okay. Well, then you've got the sense of humor there. Mr. grew up in Louisiana, so my youngest was born in Louisiana. So, and he's on a completely different wavelength from all the children. So, in any case, folks, that's about it for the hurricane. It was rather uneventful today, other than a lot of news out of Afghanistan. Again, there are people still trapped in the country. Tim Kennedy, who's a former special ops guy, and he's all over Instagram. He actually went there with a group of guys he deployed with to go and find their translators, some other friends they had in the country, and they were spiriting them out of the country. Last I heard, he actually just made it back to the States. You said Kunas. Yeah, you see, and Lucky knows that. I guess you don't hear that too often in Texas, unless you're in Houston or around Cajuns. But but in that case, yeah, the Afghanistan, we're gonna have to keep an eye on. I don't know what's going on there. That's pretty funky looking. My corgis are about to bark. I see a vehicle pulling up, which means the missus is home and the corgis will flip out. There you go. If you ever wondered how loud a corgi can bark, there you go. It sounds like a bigger dog. But, well, folks, it's dinner time for me as well. So I'm going to let you all go. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget, check out all the channels. We listed a bunch. Heroic, Lucky, Appalachia, Bug, Five Virgins. There were Klingon Princess. There's several more. And I swear I subscribe to them, and then I get unsubscribed by the tube, and then I have to go back and do it again. Oh yeah, Circle Back Girl. Yeah, yeah. That's a big pile of poop, but I'm sure you already figured that one out yourself. Gang, be safe. Y'all take care of yourselves, and don't forget, we'll have a few of the bigger channels we'll feature tonight, and I can't remember who's on tonight. So Raggedy Saki, there you go. I like that one. So, folks, in any case, you guys have a blessed day. Be safe, and y'all have a good week. We will see you Thursday, and then I have my technical premiere Thursday, and then Lucky goes live like at 7 or 8 Central Time. So don't forget to check them out as well. Gray Man's on tonight. Thank you. Thank you, Jen. So Gray Man's on tonight. You guys be safe, and don't forget to wish well to Papa Prepper while he recovers. Y'all take care.